drills to improve your shot making and positional play. The Drill Partner is perfect for you.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Dogging It. Here we're talking about, Mike, did you update the title there?
Yeah, World
Okay,
Nine
I
Ball
just
Preview
didn't.
Show.
Yeah, so this is
Don't
World
be a
9 Ball
diva.
Preview Show. Sorry, I just don't have it on mine. It doesn't show that. But folks, welcome in. Let us know if you can hear us and see us okay. We're going to be talking World 9 Ball, the matchroom event being held in Kielce, Poland. Is that how you say it? Kielce, Poland?
Who knows?
I don't know. Kielce. We'll go with Kielce, Poland.
Yeah.
And
Cold
big
and
event,
snowy.
boys. Big event. 100
Before we jump in, we are going to do a Derby City recap show. That is on the agenda. That's on deck. We're just getting a little bit more information
Maybe even 2 shows.
before maybe 2 shows today, as a matter of fact. Yeah. So we are going to do a Derby City recap show, talking about the event as a whole and talking about some other fun topics. So don't think I'm going Joey Ryan on you and getting soft, because I ain't. So anyway, now that we cleared the air, now we can do the World 9 Ball Preview Show.
Yeah, let's talk World 9 Ball preview. So we got 128 player field. Obviously, it's a matchroom event. 60,000 to the winner. So coming off the heels of Derby, where there was some complaints about the payouts and the amount of money got paid out, we'll take that up at a later date. This event is paying pretty well. In fact, 30,000 for second place. If you make the final four, you're getting 17.5. That's a good payday in pool, folks. 128 players. They start out with a race to 9, and they're going to go down to the final 64, where it'll then be single elimination, races to 11, with the finals being a race to 13. So, what are you most looking forward to about this event, Melina?
I mean, I love World Championships. I love the as much as Mike thinks that, there's World Championships don't mean anything. I, on the other hand, think that they mean the world. No pun intended. There's something very prestigious about it, and especially since Matchroom's taken over, it's just been taken to a whole new level and really taken to the stage where I feel like it's lacked for decades. So I am beyond excited. I think the coverage is going to be top shelf as always. I just gotten a photo of the table, so it looks like it's going to play a little snug, which I like. Rick Glasscock asked about a live stream for free. I know they're going to have it on DAZN, probably on Matchroom Live, and then more than likely their YouTube as well. So there'll be a few different avenues to get the information. And then typically what they do, and I'm not sure in this, but usually after a couple of days they just transition over into DAZN exclusively, at least here in the States.
Yeah, is that what you understand, Panozzo? Normally, like in the beginning rounds, when there's a lot of tables going, they'll do some stuff on their Facebook and
yeah. Well, I mean,
over
like the first couple days, table 1 will be on DAZN and on Matchroom Live, right? And then they've got 2 other tables. Table 2 will be on Matchroom YouTube, and table 3 will be on Multisport YouTube, Matchroom Multisport YouTube. So there's three vehicles, platforms to watch matches on, and then once they get to the final 64, then I believe it's pretty much all DAZN in the U.S. for those matches.
There you go.
look at that comment. No Tina Mike. I love it. Kind of play on words with Melina Mike, and anyway. But hey, before we jump in, I just want to share something with you guys that's kind of new and fresh off the press. Something really important to us, near and dear to my heart. When Melina and I started working together, we talked about sponsorships and kind of looking for people to partner with. And you guys have seen that with events. And one of the things that's important to us is finding people who are like-minded, right? And we feel like are really trying to do well for the game and have a great reputation. And so right when I started the Pool Player podcast, I was actually buying stuff online at full retail. I had no followers or anything, and then giving it away to some of the YouTube subscribers. And the place that I chose to go was Cyberts. And so I'm going to pull that up now because this is their website. We have their logo and stuff. We're going to be getting that up soon. They're going to be sponsoring for the World Championship through the CSI Expo. So
Nice.
if you've never dealt with Cyberts, let me tell you something. I ordered something from there. Melina's probably heard this story 5 times now, but I'm going to go ahead and share it.
Easily.
I ordered something from them, and it was, the ball carrying case. By the way, you see that a lot at in Round Rock, Mike, at
That's how they
Skinny
give you the
Pop.
balls. That's how they
Yeah,
give you the balls.
yeah, in the bag, right? So I ordered the bag so you could carry your balls around, and they called me like, I don't know, that day or later that day, and said, "Hey, that product is on back order. It's going to take like 2 weeks. Do you still want us to, keep your card information and, send you that? Or do you want to cancel that order and just reorder in 2 weeks?" And I'm like, I'll wait, but how cool that you called me. And so their customer service is impeccable. If you never dealt with Cyberts, I recommend you go there. It's cyberts.com. Tons of things on there. We're going to do some cool stuff with them. So, yeah, show them some love, guys.
Yeah, it's cool.
Including, I'm not giving my picks until I do a reel later today. So, and we'll include all their fun logos and
Dude,
stuff.
this is
like
a
we did.
preview
I'm
show.
not.
Now
I
everybody
know,
just
but
left because you're not
I
giving
know.
picks.
No. We're doing it at the end. But yeah, Joey's right. Treat people. Listen, it's real simple. You treat people how you want to get treated, and you last. And that's the reason why they've been around as long as they did. So, anyway,
Hey,
now
we
that
got a
Joey's. So
sorry, Mike. We got a good question here from Jeremy Sheen. He wants to know how the seating works. I assume that's on the Matchroom point system. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Based on
So
Matchroom point system. So there's some big names that just haven't played in Matchroom events. A lot of the Filipino players, some other players who just didn't play in Matchroom events or enough Matchroom events to earn the points to be into the top 64. So, that's the whole impetus behind the point system, right? Is listen, if you want seating, if you want to get into these events, if you want to get into the invitational events, you have to play and start earning your points. So yeah.
well, it creates an interesting dynamic, right? Because the people who don't play in the events and don't get seated, they might get punished because they're going to have a tough draw, right?
Yeah.
But then you have a seated player who might get a tough draw too because that person, who they have to play hasn't been entering the points events, right? So it turns out to be a kind of a weird scenario for a few players where they're competing against somebody who in, a normal scenario would be a ranked player, would be a seeded player, but they're going to have a tough first round draw. So,
You mean like
few
Johan
of the-
Shua?
yeah. So you guys want to go through? What do you guys want to do? You want to go through the brackets? You want me to pull them up?
throw it up there.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's put 'em
Yeah,
up.
no, just addressing a question about players streaming their matches. Matchroom doesn't allow that, so they will not be streaming to their personal Facebooks or YouTubes. So that will not be happening. Now there are some juicy matchups coming up. What are we going? That's brutal right there. Yap and Sharik, those guys travel everywhere together. And
Yeah, they're both from Singapore, both great guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, Yap's a little more accomplished player, but we've seen Shark play a number of times. We know that he's capable. So, but just the fact that they're roommates, I'm sure, and travel buddies, that's kind of sucky. And then the match right below that is kind of a tough match right there for Alcade. He could have drawn a lot easier there. He draws Billy Thorpe in the first round. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
well, I mean, Billy ain't been playing a whole lot on Matchroom stages, so it's. I think it's decent for David. It's tough for Billy because David's had a lot of success playing Matchroom events, whether it's World Pool Masters, World Cup of Pool, going deep in individual events. I mean, that's about as tough a draw as you can ask if you're Billy, because David, I feel like is in that top 15 range easily.
Yeah.
So,
It's a tough draw for Billy. Although David, I'm sure would have liked to have started out with someone a little softer himself. So
like Lars Kukrin. I don't know who he
Well,
is.
look, how many soft players? That's one thing I
It's
was
a world
thinking
championship.
when I was looking at these tough first round matchups. One thing I was thinking is, well, who's easier? Because it's a world championship event. You're not going to have Joey Ryans and Melina Mikes in this event. You're going to have everybody can play. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But so going down the list a little bit for Tunski, one of the Polish players, I'd be curious to see how playing in Poland in this world championship to see if that puts some wind in their sails, and if they play even better. Obviously, all of the top Polish players are really strong, so it'll be kind of curious to watch them play.
Jimmy's in the chat telling me Lars is a hell of a player. Better watch out. Okay, Jim, you got Lars. I'll take Loho some. All right, we can fire at it.
Lars plays on the Euro Tour, which we know is the best tour in the history of pool.
I mean that with all due respect. So I don't get to follow.
Just kidding, Jim.
Some of these other names as much as Jim does. But Joey's right. There's going to be a lot of pressure. But I feel like the reason why, it was in Poland in the first place, a lot to do with what Wojciech did in the World 10 Ball. And I know it's different events, but I'm sure the successes that the Polish players have had over the last 12 months has certainly been a reason why they, probably lobbied and bid on, having that in Poland. Mike, you got any information on that?
No real input on how they came up with it, or who drove who to, to who, whether the Polish Federation contacted Matchroom, said we want to have him Polish, or whether it was vice versa.
Jim's right.
Yeah. Which Mike is he talking about?
Yeah, I know. I know what he's talking about. That's all that matters.
But but it is cool that it's there. I mean, we know how strong the Polish players are, and I think what you were talking about, Joey. Is it going to help them? Is it going to? I think that early in the event, it's going to help all of them. As it goes later, deeper into the event, and you're one of the last Polish players standing, or the last Polish player, then all of a sudden the heat comes on you, right? Yeah. So my pick before this whole tournament started was Victor.
By the way, I take mad offense to that pick, Mike, because that's been who I've been riding for the last 6 months at least.
We can't pick anybody that you picked in the last 6 months.
You can't. No, you have to say, like my good friend Mike said, I'm gonna go with. You have to preface it with that, Mike. You can't just go out on a limb when I've been saying.
Because if it wasn't for you, I would know nothing about Victor or his chances of winning.
You know what?
No,
but careful, Panozzo. Panozzo, you got to be careful, because Victor is quickly approaching Max Lechner's status with Melina Mike.
Oh my gosh!
We all know how much he loves Max, and Victor is.
I'll take Max Lechner in that first round.
Finals. Max hasn't at least reached the finals as often as Victor has, and I think Victor's got a good chance here. But I also think that as it gets closer to the finish line, if it's Victor and he's still looking for that first big win, he's going to have a lot of heat on him. And I would hate to see him go Roberto Gomez on the World Championship final.
Man, why you gotta go?
What harsh?
Well, because that's a perfect analogy. I mean, that was in the Philippines. Roberto Gomez, was the last Filipino stand to get to the championship match. He's got a huge lead, and then
who was it on? It was
Daryl Peach.
Daryl Peach. That's who it was. Yeah.
So so that to me just showed you how having that weight of your country on your shoulders can beat you down by the end. But I think early in the event, I think the Polish players will be freewheeling.
I think that Roberto's gotten rid of a lot of those demons, though.
This is not calling out Roberto. I'm just talking about an instance where that was clearly a factor.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, he's had a lot of dog in him for sure. Going back to that event, yeah.
Look, I'm ready to make my first bold prediction of the day, and in match number 9, I'm taking Max to win it.
That you must be from Arizona. That's very Nick DeLeon like when it comes to having gamble.
You can get kicked off shows for comments like that.
Yeah. Luckily, he's running things, so I'd give him the boot, boys. But we got the return of Nick Vandenberg against Hasia, a strong Taiwanese player. That's going to be an interesting matchup. I know Nick's coming off, I believe, a decent win out in the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Dutch championships. I think he won. I don't know if he won the 9-ball or the 10-ball or one of those against Niels. So Nick's a terrific player. So he's going to be tough for anybody.
That without a doubt. Another one where you see where the seeding comes into play. Naoki Oi having a first round matchup against Mickey Kraus. That's pretty savory there, boys. Those are two big guns there.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good first round match. I like Oi in that match, but Mickey's young gun, up and coming, and could shock the world there with a win there. Let's see. Why does it stop right there? Did I start at the bottom?
You had one job to do, Joey.
I have
By the
one
way,
No,
job.
no,
you had one
no.
job to do, buddy.
Why does it stop?
There we go. There we go.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay.
There you
It's
go.
scrolling. Yeah, you
We got
it.
it kicked back in. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Tyler and Mason. Didn't you say they're both from Wisconsin, Mike?
They
Yeah,
are.
Draw
Mhm.
each other in the first round. Kind of brutal. Head all the way to Poland.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
an interesting
They could have
matchup
played in
below.
Appleton and been done with it.
Yeah, interesting matchup below with Kazakis and Eric from Canada, Big Red.
Yeah.
Eric's capable of catching a gear and playing really well there.
You want to take Big
All right.
Red, big boy? Is that what you're saying?
No, but I just noticed that as I scroll
No.
as I scroll through this, if I don't go up and then down, I don't get the rest.
Right.
So there we go. Yeah,
Mario, he's got a first round matchup where it's going to be tough to fade. And I like Mario going deep in the World 9 ball, given how he ended the year winning the Euro Tour. He's been knocking on that door, including, I think it was the semifinals in was it U.S. Open or the major right before it?
That was
against
the
Albin.
UK was the UK Open, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's been knocking on that door. I like Mario going real deep in this event. But that first round matchup is going to be tough for him, without a doubt.
So Mike Holm is a man after my own heart. He comments that ads on the Matchroom page. I was just telling you guys this. It's like they have such an elegant page, and then they have ads on there.
Is that
Get
your burner
the ads
account, Joey?
off, please.
Is Mike Holm your burner account, Joey? Are you commenting in the chat? Is that
Just
what
like
you're
No
doing?
Tina Mike is yours. I don't know. So let's go back. Oh, look, I can't go back. Wait. Oh,
You
there we
gotta
go.
use
Yeah, you
the
gotta.
same one.
Yeah, scroll the page up now. Just scroll in the middle of the.
All
There
right.
you go,
You guys are
Joey.
teaching me how to use a computer. I
Keep
want
the
to talk
cursor
about
in
this
the middle,
matchup.
Joey.
Melina, you just spent 9 days in a bed next to Oscar Dominguez. Well, not the same bed,
Yeah, we
but
didn't
the
need
bed
to know that.
next to his bed. And
No,
I
that
don't
was
think he
one
played-
bed. It
Yeah.
was a bed. Yeah.
I don't think he played his best out there at Derby. And so, rooming with the player, you get their insights on how they're feeling and what their mindset is. And this isn't an easy draw. Stephen Holm can play, good player from Canada. How do you feel like Oscar is coming into this event?
Yeah, I think Oscar's biggest issue right now is going to be his break. I think there's a lot of players who have gotten it dialed in or are getting it dialed in, especially when it comes to these top tier players. It's going to be massive, obviously. I mean, it's 9 ball, and the break's always going to be key. But you got to have a higher percentage of consistency with getting either that 1 ball down or another ball tracking. I don't know how Holm's game's been doing. Oscar, I think, got tied for 26th out of 500 something players. So, there's a higher standard with Oscar. He's going to go into the match as a favorite against Steven, but we've seen that kid play as well. He can hit the balls in the hole, but I've never really seen him have too much success on a matchroom stage, let alone in a world championship. So, but yeah, they're all going to be, like Notina says, will be tired. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Another one of those rough draws we talked about because of the seeding issue is Al Youssef versus Chua first round. I think that may be one of the cases where the unseeded players actually favored. You guys agree with that?
That one, it's pretty close.
It's
Pretty
close. It's close.
I mean, that's a coin flip.
All right,
it's
I'll take
close. I don't know
Chua.
about
I'll take
favorite.
Chua for a steak dinner. Who's taking?
Well, he's stealing then, boys, if he's willing to bet that.
Yeah.
So anyone in here who's watching,
He didn't say what kind of.
how
steak.
nitty Joey Ryan is. So
Yeah,
if he's willing to go steak dinner and not the dollar burger at
Joey's
McDonald's
going
like he usually likes to
Ponderosa
bet,
though with the
then-
steak dinner.
Brutal.
That's what I'm saying, man. No, listen, Al Youssef has been the epitome of consistency in every big event that he's been in, whether it's matchroom or otherwise. That guy gets down, he gets going, his break gets fluid. I think he's probably been the top player out of that region for a little bit of time now, even above Bader and above Omar, who we haven't seen since that World Championship final a little bit ago. Raymond, I love you, my man. You that might be it's close. You might be like plus 120.
That's a good bet right there. That's
plus 120 on the beard bet with Al Youssef. No, but it seems like I don't know what his diet or health is like, but that guy's lost a lot of weight. The last few times that I've seen him.
someone told me that he actually had surgery.
Oh, is that right? Okay, well, it's noticeable.
Hey,
but
no
he's
HIPAA violations,
playing
boys.
lights
No
out.
HIPAA violations. Let's just keep it business. Okay.
No, but He's playing phenomenal, and Chua is easily a top 5 Filipino. So I think this is one of those cases where he hasn't been playing matchroom events, and that's the reason why he's going in unseeded. But could he be a top 10 player if he was playing, on a circuit full time? I would bet a lot of money on him making that top 10 by the end of the year. I can promise you
Really?
that. So it's a hell of a matchup. Oh, without a doubt, yeah. Chua is a monster.
Got a big match coming up there, Mikey. One that you'll be watching close.
What's it?
Gerson and Mika.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
a
you,
player.
Listen.
refused to bet against Mika, but Gerson was giving everybody a handful in Derby.
Yeah, and Molina, I know you're fond of Gerson, and I think he did really well in the banks. I didn't know he was such a good banker of the balls.
That was his first time playing one pocket, and I think he got like final, what was it, 6
Oh,
or
was it
something?
one pocket? I thought he went
8,
deep in
yeah.
banks.
I think he went deep in everything,
Oh,
but
okay.
that was his first time I know playing in a
And
pro one
he had
pocket
Efren
event,
on the
and he
ropes
goes
in
that
one
deep.
pocket.
He had him 2-1,
Yeah.
right, Mike?
Jeez.
That was to Mike's delight, because Mike was waiting on an interview for like 14 hours, and all you see is Mike there stalking the table. Is he out? Is he out? Did he get there? Is he got the bank?
Yeah.
So no, it's definitely going to be a tough matchup. They were both at Derby City. I don't know. Flip a coin. Mika's obviously going to be the more vogue name, but Gerson can get there. I can promise.
He
you
seems like
that.
the type of
He can.
player that would get under Mika's skin a little bit too. Kind of get Mika into
With the style of
his
play?
style of play, kind of get Mika in that, doing this with his hands all the time type of stuff. So we'll see. It'll be a good one to watch.
So we know the legend of Mika Immonen. We followed it for years. I mean, is he at the point in his career where he could still make a big run in one of these events? What do you guys think?
What do you think is a big run?
Yeah.
Like final 8?
Yeah.
Final 8? That would be a pretty good run for Mika.
Listen.
I think he's got the firepower to be there. He still fires at everything.
Am I crazy or okay? Who's the reigning world 9-ball champion here? Who are we talking about? Shane, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Did he not have Shane like 10-1 going to 11 last year? Am I crazy here? Can he go on a run?
No, that did happen.
Go on a run. The man can go on a run.
That's one match. That's not a run.
But it was like in the final like 8 or something, Mike, or 16. It wasn't like
there.
it was the second. It wasn't like it was in the second round.
Yeah, but still
16 or 32. It was 16 or 32, one or the other. There were a few. Shane had a few, but anyways,
Panozzo's right. Any one match.
Mika's given his last Billiards Digest interview after that comment.
Are you kidding?
No, but Panozzo's right. You can't go by any one match to say, okay, the guy still got it. But
yeah,
obviously
Tyler had Josh on the ropes. Does that mean Tyler could win the tournament?
Yeah, I mean Tyler's gotten some big wins or close knocking on the door on some big wins. I wouldn't bet on Tyler.
Big win is different than a deep run.
Well, yeah, but he also I think he's got the potential, but we haven't seen it yet. Mika, that was a pretty decent run by Mika standard, I feel like.
Yeah.
With Shane,
proven commodity for sure.
Yeah, with Shane, it's finals or bust, right? Like every player I think has like a different way that you measure them. So yeah, I don't know.
That's right. I forgot. No, Tina reminded us that Gerson took second in the World 10 balls. Was it Gerson?
No, it was Tevez.
It was Jonas.
It was Tevez.
Oh, Tevez, right.
Tevez.
Yeah. It was not Gerson.
Another Spanish dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Looking at this set of matches here. Yeah, Peruvian. This set of matches here, we got the matchup intrigue.
Okay, Joey. They take that as mad disrespect for Joey, by the way. Yeah, keep on. Yeah. It's some Spanish guy. No, it's a big difference. It's a big
Well, that's
difference.
what I'm saying. I mean, I'm just making fun of us because we just keep throwing out Spanish names and finally we get one.
Don't make fun of us, Joe.
Well, the intriguing matchup here, I think, is Ralph Souquet and Sullivan Clark. We saw Sullivan Clark out in Vegas, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, make a really nice run out there and had a bunch of fans from New Zealand commenting on our stuff saying, hey, stream one of his matches back when we were streaming those matches out there. And the guy can play a little bit, he played good player. And Ralph Souquet, how much longer can Ralph Souquet keep doing it, man? Just a consummate professional. I'd be really interesting to see how this match turns out. I think it's probably pretty close on paper. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna go with the old man. I like Sullivan a lot. A very smart young guy. But I saw him in Derby. I don't know if it was the format or the long days, but I think he lost to Efren and to um, Margaret, if I'm not mistaken, in the 9 ball. So Ralph, despite his age, from a performance standpoint, the guy's just as steady as can be. So I'm gonna go with Ralph in that spot. But it's can Sullivan go and make a run? Yeah, we saw it, Joe. That's how he came on the radar. And I like him in general. He's just a real intelligent guy.
Yeah, good kid. What? How old do you think he is, Mike? Mid
Got to be
20s?
like early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, young guy. So he's got a long career ahead of him, I'm sure. Now, guys, bear with me. I got to scroll up the scroll down.
No, you don't.
You're
You just
killing
have to
it,
keep the
Joe.
cursor in the center and not to the right of that blue
Yeah,
line.
No, it
exactly.
doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that. Does it?
No, it kind of
Oh,
really
I'm
does.
dogging it. It
Kinda
so
really
works that
does.
way. That's crazy. I'm not hearing an echo, Melina. Let us know in the
I'm-
chat if you guys
Yeah,
hear
I'm
the
hearing
that.
it,
mic,
though.
Mike's got a little echo.
It's
Oh.
well, I'm hearing it when I talk, but I'm not. My audio is
I'm
coming
hearing
in
it your
front.
end too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
hearing
hear
I
it.
don't know.
I don't hear it at all. How would you like to be Michael Schneider and draw Alex Pagulayan in the first round? you're a seeded player, and then you see Alex pop up on the other half of the bracket.
Yeah, and Alex is playing really good right now. He's really.
I mean, that
Really?
might be one to watch out for if you're on the other end. I feel like
You feel
Michael's-
like Alex is playing good in rotation, Panozzo?
Yeah,
He played great in Derby.
he
Did he?
did.
Where'd he finish?
Oh, he was
Third
third or fourth.
Third.
Wow, I missed that.
Did he hand Shane his first loss?
He did. Yeah, yeah. I mean, now granted, I mean it was like 3 a.m. So whatever that's worth after playing for so
Alex
many
is older
hours in
than
the day.
Shane, so I'm giving him the credit.
Yeah, but everyone handles that, long days differently, Hey, hold on, Joe. Before you go, I want to shout out that kid, Khalid. That's the guy you want to watch out for. That's a kid on the unseeded one that can go and make a run. He was playing in that big money event out in Qatar. I think he ended up getting second and taking home over 100,000. That kid can play some pool. Junior
Really?
player too.
He's a Johan Roysnick pupil, right?
He is.
Oh, is that right?
Indeed. Yep, he is. Yep.
Man, it's
Anyway,
like
but listen.
everything Johan touches turns to gold, huh?
Well, you got better than even chance of improvement.
Well,
Yeah.
Even you, Joey. Even you.
Maybe I'll make a phone call.
Wonders for your game.
Does he?
He could get you over the 720 line, and then I would know who you are.
There you go. There you go, Mikey. I like it. Hey, but listen,
Can-
back on the topic of Alex, Michael Snyder's been playing some great pool. And besides this run at Derby, I think he's been playing better rotation than Alex has. So I don't think it's, I would take Michael getting some games in that matchup for sure if Alex is going to be such a favorite.
Wow. Yeah, Mark White says that Khalid lost Hill but won $130,000. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How strong is that?
Scrolling on through, anything appeal to you guys here?
Babika, Van Europe, 2 solid Europeans. That's about it, really. I like chalk for the most of these, and granted, some of them are known names to me, like Dadat. I haven't seen him play pool, and I don't know when. I recognize the name, but otherwise, I don't.
Okay. Shane Wolford and Pia Filler there in the first round. Interesting matchup.
Yeah. Mikey, what did you say about that before we came on air, Mike? What was the phrase?
He said nothing.
I said if Shane Wolford goes down to Pia, I don't like his Moscone Cup chance.
That's what he said, man. That's what he said.
Just on principle alone.
Yeah. If you can't beat Pio, you may not have a chance to beat Josh. So
Josh, that's a tall order then.
I mean, she could play. Let's not be disrespectful.
She can play. She can play great. No, she plays phenomenal.
Yeah.
She plays phenomenal. But
I'm moving on.
Hold on. Hey, wait a minute. There's a couple other ones. That Kachi matchup is strong. Demetrius played a lot last year. We've seen him play more probably than Kachi has over the last 12 months. I think that's a really intriguing matchup. One where a big name might go down to a relative unknown.
Not going to happen.
You don't think so? What kind of odds can I get, Joey?
I tell you what. How
many games can I get?
Let me tell you. I've said this story before. Kachi
scared.
He scares the heck out of me. Okay, he just looks like a straight killer. But when it's a big event, he typically bears down, and you'll see him get deep in this event. I'm predicting he gets deep in this event. I'm not saying he's going to win it. I'm saying definitely final 16 for Kachi in this event.
Okay, big boy. So how many games can I get? So that you quit dancing around the question.
Let me tell you something.
He's
It's
talking
a
about
race
who
to
wins
9.
Some
and
people
moves
don't
on.
like somebody who barks all the time.
No,
Let's
I'm
put it
bar-
up.
Put a number on it. Put a number on it, Mr. Steak Dinner. Huh?
No, no,
Even
Come
up.
on. Yeah. Come
No.
Even
on.
up.
we'll keep going.
Even up. What do I look like,
Yeah.
a sucker, Mike? Give me a break here.
Yes, you
We're
do.
talking about players who are going to move on. You're trying to get games.
No. Give me
This
a
is
break.
win or lose.
No, this isn't. No, we got a handicap here, boys. Where are you going, Joe? You're scrolling through like 40%
I'm just going.
of the
I'm waiting to
bracket.
change the subject because I'm not going to bet with you.
All right. Fine.
There's a good matchup with Roman Heibler and Matt Edwards. First round. Who you like there?
What do you got, Mike?
Roman.
Same. Yeah.
Really?
We know
I'm
it.
going with Matt. Get that
I hope
first
Matt
round.
does. He's had a tough year.
Joey
What else?
All
do
right,
you
right
like?
there, right
Joey,
there.
take
Jay,
it.
where are you going, Joe? We got to keep you off controls here
We got
because
some
you're
Americans going here.
I'm waiting for you to jump in.
You're
There.
just
Okay, I'll leave it.
a fire here, Joey.
What do you know about Chris Alexander? Anything? Can he beat Sky Woodward?
American
This is a
hearts
good
better
player.
hope he
Chris
can't.
was just in or no, it was Elliott that was at Derby, right? The Screamer. Chris is a good player.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was Elliott. Elliott was out there.
Yeah.
Elliott plays great. That's gonna be a good matchup with him and Petrie. But yeah, I think Chris. It's gonna be tough. Sky's in gear, and if Sky got some rest, a lot of people were picking Sky at having a really monster year, including Jeremy Jones being a homer. I think a lot of people feel like it's his time to shine. I mean, I at least had half a dozen people walk up to me and talk about Sky there at the Derby, and this is like before he goes on a decent run.
That's because they watched the show early this year and they heard what I said, that this is going to be his year to win a major. And then this whole argument about majors ensued. And Panozzo, who now looks like a genius because he said Derby was not a major and we fought him on it. And now after what happened with Derby this year, I think we can all agree it's not a major. So
I don't think that it makes me a genius. I think that it says a little more about your guys' pick.
Yeah.
I don't know where to take that as an insult or not, Mike. But I'm
you should definitely take that as an insult.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, but you know what? It's worn welcomely around here because Mike ended up looking real smart after that. But they got a lot of work to do.
But we were talking about Sky. Sky. He is. We've talked about it before with Sky. Just his ceiling is wherever he wants it to be if he dials in and puts into work, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like it has been that way for the last 3-4 months.
Right.
You just hope it carries forward. You hope that he's dialed in for this year because, if he is dialed in for this whole year and he's committed to this year, then, I like him winning, a significant title this year.
I mean, he I believe was I don't think it was this last World Championship, but the year before, he was like in a final, I want to say 16 or 8 against Shane. So he's not too far removed, and I think he's hitting the ball better. As much as Derby is going to be a big talking point of the next week, I think for some of these guys who are able to catch up on sleep and who have a high ceiling, you better watch out because they've been hitting balls and hitting a lot of balls. And Sky is one of those guys where if he's coming in full gear and full stroke, and listen, we've already seen him on matchroom stages do big clutch things, right? So now he hasn't snapped off one of these bad boys yet, but as long as you're knocking on the door and trending, all it takes is one win for that dam to burst. And look what happened to a guy like Francisco, right? He spent a few years. He spent a few years knocking in that 8, 16, 32 range, and then all of a sudden he's the best player on earth. So, but we'll see.
I said at the beginning of this year, and I did say it before you, Mark White, so don't even try it. But I said at the beginning of the year, Sky's going to win a major. And by the end of the year, there's going to be conversation about who the best American player is. And not because, Shane's going to, suffer in his game, but just, you're going to wonder about how long does Shane want to keep doing this, right? He doesn't have anything more to prove on
long
the
enough
table.
To stay up till 9 a.m. in the morning and play a final.
That was interesting. That was interesting. I was kind of surprised by that. You're defending your World 9-ball title. At some point, you don't necessarily need the money. Why didn't Shane just kind of bow out? What are your thoughts on that? I know we're not talking Derby now, but let's talk Derby.
Well, you're down to the final match. It's first play. I mean, what's 3 more hours sleep? You're getting ready to take an 11-hour flight to Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
guess.
my thought process is, listen, you're going to be a wreck
When did
getting
they-
to Europe no matter what.
When did they find out that they were basically playing through the night?
I think they determined that pretty early on, just because
evening,
these guys all had to leave. Everybody had flights, international flights the next day. You couldn't say, well, we're going to, everybody stay an extra day and we'll take a 5-hour break and we'll play till noon or 1 o'clock. So, I don't think that I think it was the only thing they really could do.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
No, I know they wanted to stop play the night before, but everyone had flights to Poland to catch. That was the issue.
I guess the players,
if not, they would have. So
I guess the players thought, yeah, I'll just sleep on the flight over there. If it were me, I can't sleep on airplanes, so that would have been a big problem. I'm the kind of guy I can only sleep on a vehicle if I'm driving it, which is actually a really bad thing. But I can't sleep if somebody else is in control. I get nervous. I don't want to. I'm kind of looking out the window, like, is a pilot going to hit something?
Well,
I can't sleep on an airplane.
As the photos from Derby showed, pool players can sleep anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Joey can barely control a website, on a 3-hour sleep, let alone a vehicle. Anyway, let's move on. We got Delgado versus Joey Tate. Is the young American going to have a decent run given how he had at the U.S. Open?
I love to see it. I love to see it. This is a huge stage, though. I don't know how much he's traveled internationally and played pool. I would imagine that will come into play. It's a big factor. Maybe he gets up for it, or maybe it's too much of a distraction getting over to Poland and playing pool. I'm not sure, but I think it's a big ask right now for him to go deep in this tournament, but I'd love to see it.
I think it's a big ask for him to go there and first round beat Delgado, but that's, it could happen. I would love to see it. I mean, it'd be
but
cool.
Who was Delgado before a few months ago? I think Joey can do it. I think Joey's got that work ethic.
Joey can do
and
it.
I think he's got that skill. And to Joey's point, Joey's been traveling. I'm getting myself confused here because there's two Joeys in the conversation. So Joey's been traveling a lot this year.
You can't say it and point this way. That's the worst.
I know.
Joey is a great player. Joey is an amazing player. Joey is an awesome player.
Joey knows pool.
Right. So no, it's after the US Open, I think it's I look at things in the grander scheme. It's like I feel like it's steps. He obviously made a big mistake against Shane. Will he learn from it? Sure. I think Delgado is a great, measuring stick for a guy like Joey Tate. I think he's got all the ability in the world, and this is going to be a prime time stage to go and show it. Knowing that kid's work ethic, I'm sure he's ready. I'm excited for that matchup. Now, I'm not saying Delgado's a bum by any means, because the guy can play pool, and he can play pool extremely well. But I think before this last year, he's maybe kind of similar to what a Joey Tate was, as far as just kind of an unknown.
I made the point about traveling internationally. 90% of this field has done that, right? They've gone to the Philippines, or they've gone to, the Middle East, or they've gone to Europe and they've played. And there's a lot of variables that come into play that you and I probably don't think of, right? There's a difference in food. There's the language barrier. There's all kinds of stressors. On the measuring stick of stressful life events, going on a vacation is right at the top. Everybody thinks I'm going to go on vacation and relax.
You've been on vacation with my family, obviously.
Yeah. But they think I'm going to, I can't wait to go to Italy for 10 days. And it ends up being more stressful than if you didn't go to Italy. You think you're going to relax or whatever, but there's, the issues of getting into the country, the language, and, all these different things that pop up cannot be overlooked, for people making their first trip internationally to play pool. And I think this is his first trip. I'm not sure. Maybe he did with juniors.
No,
I'm not sure.
World teams. He played in the world
teams. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe that little bit of seasoning helped him, and maybe he'll come in and play well. But it's a big ask. I mean, he's playing a tough player in the first round, and I'd love to see this kid go deep, but we'll see what happens.
What about the next match?
Chris Miller?
No. Young Chang. Does he have can he win he's been one of the top players in the world for a long time. When was the last time you saw it? Well, he won the international.
International, yeah.
Was it the international, or was it the US Open still then?
No, it was the
but I think it
international.
was the international. So, I mean, other than that, you always want to pick him to win one of these big events, and he just doesn't.
He can do it.
Is he too old? Is
No.
he?
I mean,
Man,
no. I mean, you look
Mike's
at.
just coming. Mike's just bringing the heat today.
I know,
No,
but if you
no.
look
This
at
is a question. I mean, I see his name all the time, and I'm like, when am I going to write about him in the winner's circle again?
he's a
Because
top.
he's been a top 5 player, top
top
3
5
player
player,
for
right.
a decade.
Right.
And you just pick other than the international, pick a big event like this that he's even reached the final.
Panozzo, it just goes to show how tough it is to win one of these events. So when
100%.
you have a guy like Albin who had the year he had a couple years ago, look at how long we were waiting for Shane to win a world championship, and he came close, right? He played Ko that match where it was just devastating because
but
every
Shane
time
had U.S. Opens though. Shane had U.S. Open.
Shane won
Shane
5 U.S. Open.
Shane had U.S. Open, so that's.
But I'm just saying,
Mike's,
every year when the world championship came around, I'm rooting for Shane to finally get his. Right. And year after year after year, you're disappointed. And then he finally gets to the finals against Ko. And I'm like, oh, this is his year. He's playing great. And he was smoking people coming into that match. I mean, he wasn't missing a shot. And then every time Ko misses, he's hooked in that match. And I'm like, oh, this is devastating.
Let it go, Joe. You brought up the same Shane versus Ko story for
it impacted my life.
Every World Nine Ball, I gotta hear the story about how Ko got rolls on the way to his World Nine Ball.
It affected me, Melina, and what I'm trying. It affected me. And what I'm trying to tell you
in Vegas. So is what I hope you tell that same story.
What I'm trying to tell you is it is really hard to win one of these events. You look at these 128 players here. You got like 40 people capable of winning the event, probably. And so on any given day, it's like when Tiger Woods would enter a golf tournament, you're like, oh, Tiger Woods is going to win it. Well, no, he didn't win as many as you thought he won. There were so many other good golfers out there. And so I think that's the case with Chang, right? He's right in the conversation. He's, top 5 to 8 player to win any event he enters, but it's just really hard to win one of these.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Just
so
curious.
Breaking
news.
Make
a deep run. I like
breaking
the guy.
News. It's really hard to win a tournament. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Right.
Speaking of,
I like him in the first
big
round.
Names. Speaking of big names, having a hard time winning a big tournament for a while, getting a tough draw is Copigny. Got James Aranis in the first round.
That's a really tough.
You could do a little easier than that.
Yeah, I remember when they were first coming out with the standard rankings, without any monies list, right? They're just, ranking top 20 players. And James was a guy who I had in my top 10, being a 9-ball player. I think James is break in this format is massively underrated and something to be feared, like a Sky is in this break box. And when you're cutting the ball, trying to have that back ball come around 3 rails. I think he can get there. That's about as juicy a first round. I mean, hell, that could be a semifinal matchup, and it very well may be. Depending on if that loser can come back and fight through that 1-loss side. But that is blockbuster right there.
Yeah.
Good. Should be great.
I like this Chris Melling match in the first round too. That's a strong matchup right there. I just noticed that someone posted I guess he did an interview or something on TV over in the UK, and it said, like, I talked with the best pool player in the world. Did you guys see that?
No, who'd they talk to?
I don't know, but somebody on some TV show or whatever. It was like the guy. But hold on, I got a point here. So the guy was saying,
"Way to come prepared, Joe."
The guy was saying, I just interviewed the best pool player in the world. And I'm thinking about that, and I'm wondering what Chris thought about that, right? Because obviously he's an outstanding pool player, and he's in the conversation for one of the best out there. But to say you're the best in the world, like, what do your counterparts, your colleagues feel about that? When someone interviews you and says you're the best player in the world, I don't know.
Who are we talking about?
It's all relative. They could be
Chris
talking
Melling.
about. They could have been talking about Chris in those events he's playing in the UK. Those little trick events that they're doing.
It said best pool player in the world.
Those ultimate pool events are phenomenal. I like watching ultimate pool. No, but that's a big matchup. Chris hasn't been playing a lot of 9-ball. We obviously know Huang is a very seasoned player, traveling around the world for years, and I still like Chris, but maybe it's just because of the fan in me. I enjoy watching him play pool.
Yeah.
and he's just very exciting to watch. And he's got nothing but upside. I feel like.
Well,
You
you
know,
saw him last
so
year at the U.S. Open. If you get him on a little bit of a streak where he's feeling comfortable and just walking around the table and firing balls in, he
yeah,
can make a pretty decent run, right? He
who is
made a
that
nice
upset,
run at the
Mike? I
U.S.
mean,
Open.
he demolished someone that was like I thought he was an underdog to deep in that event. I can't remember who it was, but just made like quick work of it. I mean, it was over like
Was
in
it
30
Sky?
minutes. Something.
No.
I don't remember. I don't
Somebody
Yeah.
remember.
somebody points out he beat Jason Shaw 9-0 once.
Who?
Duong.
Sure.
Duong did? Yeah.
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 Interesting. All right, scrolling down. What out of the? Let me ask you this: Conrad's here. He's playing Gutenberger first round. Out of the Polish players, who do you like to make an impact? Are you guys going to go with Victor in this event?
Without a
I
doubt.
can't because Mike does. So I got to pick
You're
someone
not allowed.
else.
You
Yeah, I'm
already
not
did.
allowed.
You might as
I'm
well,
not
Mike.
allowed.
Double
I'm
down.
gonna-
Double down.
Conrad had a good result in the Bigfoot, right?
It
He
looks like I
finished
gotta
second
go
in the
with
Bigfoot.
Papika.
Conrad had some big wins there. You
Yeah.
think he's kind of poised to do well in this event?
Well,
Yeah,
no matter
I
which
think
one I
so.
pick, the other one does well.
I know,
Every
right?
time I pick Misko, Conrad does well. Then I picked Conrad last week. Misko, it's like I can't win for losing. But that would be a good, pick the Polish team and who pick a last longer guy.
Poland against the field.
And I don't like that, but trying to pick which Polish players going to go the furthest would be a good, and it would likely be someone you didn't pick. You'd pick Victor, you'd pick Wojciech, and all of a sudden it would end up being Daniel Masial or Karol Skorsky or someone like that.
They went deep in the international, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Both those players. So
yeah,
I'm with you. I think I saw them play in Bigfoot at Derby. They both are hitting the ball really well. Effortless runouts. Their break was a liability in that event. And
how many Polish players in the final 16?
4.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I'm going to say 2. I think four is a little ambitious. It's the World Championship, boys.
I'll take over 2 then. You want to bet another cheeseburger on that one, big boy? Let me guess.
I mean, I went with the under because 3 is the line. How do you want to do that?
Okay, I'll take over 3. Well, I'll take 3. So 3 is a push.
3 is a push?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Push.
Smash burger. We'll bet a smash burger.
Smash burger. You keep on cruising. What do we got?
Let's see.
Moritz, young German player. Those are going to be good.
I haven't seen Petroni out there in a while.
Could you pick him out of a lineup?
Yes,
Petroni?
I could.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You just look for the scar
I was
on his
there the
forehead
day
from when he hit his head on the table.
I was there the day he
God.
bashed his forehead into the table at Super Billiards Expo.
Did he
That
really?
was nuts.
Oh,
yeah. It was the talk of the event. It was crazy.
Tell this story.
Do you remember why he did
know
that, Panozzo? He was just down in the match, and he just
he missed the
started
shot, just like
headbutted the rail. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's
Really?
he's had some tilt moments in his life, that's for sure.
Oh, I like
Great
him
kid.
already. Let's
I mean,
keep the camera on that guy then.
He's a good guy. His first Mosconi Cup, they introduced him on TV, and he broke down crying like a 2-year-old. It was endearing, but the most uncomfortable thing I ever saw. He just melted.
Wow.
But he's a good kid. He's been around
Emotional
a long time. We'll see what happens. What did I see Little Co in here?
Yeah, he's in here somewhere. I saw him in here.
Well, you were scrolling pretty quickly. So
you want me to scroll back up?
Not surprising that I missed
Before
him.
I scroll back up and we go on a hunt for Little Co, I guess this will be the event where we see if FSR takes this momentum into 2023 and can make a deep run here in this event. I think he's a favored to make a deep run, favored to make like the final 8, I would say. The guy's playing amazing. If he brings the 2022 form, I don't see any reason why he can't get back to final 8 in this event at least. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
Like
he's he's playing really well, really confidently. I don't think he snuck up on people so much so that now he's got a big target on his back and everybody's gunning for Ruiz. He's going to be there for a while, don't you think, Mike?
I think that everybody kind of waited for like this event is where he falls off. Like every event last year was like, all right, this is where we're gonna see the old Ruiz. This is where he's gonna taper. This is where he's gonna come up short, and he just didn't. You know, that guy played phenomenally across number of different disciplines, uh, in a number of different atmospheres, and I'm with Joey. I think top eight is realistic, just because I feel like four or better is so difficult, right? And a lot of things have
Yeah.
to happen, roles have to happen to get so lucky. But those are the expectations now with Francisco, you know. Whereas before, like I said, I mean, I remember even just from like betting and like just guessing about your top players, you people were still going more with chalk, like the Shanes and the Fillers and Jasons, the Changs. But it's like every time it was Francisco, Francisco, Francisco. He was there. He was there late. He was there on the final day. I mean, the guy is just a monster. You know
So if you think about it, before last year, he was always regarded as a very good player. He just hadn't broken through like he did last year. I'm
exactly.
curious to see who you guys think might be the next FSR, the next player who might be kind of that player who hasn't really started dominating, but is kind of in a position to break through this year in their career. Who
Mike,
got,
you want to take your guy, or you want me to?
I can't. I can't. No, no, no. I like Victor to win, but it was different for Francisco because Francisco was knocking on those last 2 days for many years. You know, where he was playing in the last 2 days. You know, we haven't seen that of Victor on matchroom stages. We just haven't. I like the kid. I think he's top 10 material. I like him to go deep in this event. I do, and I think he will have a big year. But it's different. There's not that. It's he's been doing great in Euro tours. That's not the same
So who would you
as
pick
doing
over him
great
as
on
who
match.
would you pick over him as someone who's ready to bust through the door? Mario He?
Oh man, yeah, Mario. Mario would probably be my pick because I've seen a little more consistency with him, and actually, he might be the most consistent European out of anybody. If you go back and just look at flat results, you know, the guy's always playing deep in events, no matter what event that it's in. I would say that would be my pick if I were to choose, based off of that like format there. You know,
Yeah.
so what
who
say
you
you,
got,
Joe?
Panozzo? Well,
No,
Panozzo needs to answer.
Look, Mike took both of my guys, Victor and then Mario He. So
And we know if
it's
Mike takes your guys, we know you're not allowed to take them. So
no,
No, I
no, you're
can't
not.
take.
Absolutely not.
So I'm trying to think, who else would there be?
What do you got, Joe?
Breaking
all right,
through.
I'll go and give Panozzo time to think. So,
Yeah.
this guy's kind of interesting because he's Asian, so that means he's not always overplaying in a lot of these events. But I was just so impressed with him when we saw him out in Vegas a couple years ago. I'm taking Chua. I think Chua is kind of that guy who knocks on the door all the time. He's right there, uh, you know, getting deep in tournaments, and he's ready for a breakthrough. He's got all the talent in the world. And I'm going to take him as the next guy to really break through. And we'll be talking about him the way we talk about the top players coming over from Asia,
Okay.
kind of like we talked about Chang.
I'll go with the sentimental route, and it's not someone who's going to break through and be there for the next 10 years. I would love to see Naoki Oi win a big event.
Yeah.
I think he's got the talent to do it. He's not the jokester, when it gets to table time and they're playing these matches, but he's getting up there in years. So he's one of those guys he's been relatively close the last couple of years in a lot of these tournaments. I would love to see him break through.
No, I mean, based off of that, you're right, Mike. I think he's similar to Mario in a lot of regards that way. So
except he's about 38, 39 years old, so he's no spring chicken. I mean, he's getting a little long in the tooth as far as how many more. He's not going to break through tomorrow and then dominate the next 5 years.
I just saw a 68-year-old, go on a run at Derby City. So I don't want to hear no, 38, 39 years old excuses.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Well, guys, we went through the whole brackets. Once again, 128 players, race to 9 till they get down to the final 64. Then it becomes single elimination, race to 11. Finals are 1, race to 13. 60,000 to the winner. Really good payouts here. 30,000 to the runner-up. You can catch it on DAZN, obviously, but also look out for the other social medias, the Facebook pages, YouTube. Especially early in the event, Matchroom will put it out on the YouTube and their Facebook pages as well. Are we going to do a draft, guys? We're going to have time to fit that in?
Hopefully.
Okay, we're going to try to do a draft. So we'll hold our predictions because I don't want to give Melina Mike any
Be draft?
insights.
Hey, give
as
me an
to who-
upset first round. Give me an upset first round. I know Joey ain't gonna bet no one. You know, Joey's
All right.
Joey ain't gonna pick. Joey's gonna, you know,
Panozzo, what do you got for first round?
First
Any
give me an
upsets?
upset, Mike.
Upset first round. So Chua's not an upset, right? That wouldn't be allowed. Chua
Yeah,
over
I think
El
so.
Youssef.
I think so. It's close.
All right, I'll
yeah.
take Chua.
Weak
Way to go on a limb.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
That's a Joey
That's
pick.
rough.
I was
rough.
trying to
Yeah,
beat him to
that's
the
a-
punch.
It's a
All
Joey
right, who you
pick
got, Mike?
indeed. Keep on cruising, man. Let me see what I got.
Okay.
here. I'm trying to see.
I already got mine.
Do you? Let me see here. I'm gonna bust Mike's bubble. I think. Hold on. Yeah. Damn, I don't know, man. I can't pick any of these guys. Nah, I'm gonna bust Mike's bubble. I'm gonna go with Mickey Krause over Naoki Oi, and but I'll be to be fair and honest. I don't like it one bit. I don't like it
No?
one bit. Actually, that's a good one. Yeah, Gerson is the
Gerson.
upset. Yeah. Give me Gerson. I change.
Wait, you're getting
Ito.
the help from the audience?
Yeah.
Well,
for
we
sure,
talked about
for sure.
Gerson early on as being that
Yeah.
would be a good one.
I like Gerson.
Yeah,
Okay,
what
I
happens
got
every
my
time you
upset.
pick against Mika, though, Mike? What happens every time you pick against Mika?
Oh, that means bet the farm on Mika because Mika's a lock every time I bet against him. Trust me. My record betting against Mika is awful. I mean, just awful.
All right. Well, I wanted to say something about 5 seconds ago, and I didn't say it. So now Mark Delisle is going to think I stole his pick, but I'm going with Stephen Holm over Oscar first round. I love Oscar to death. You know that. But I'm taking Holm. I think that Oscar coming from Derby, coming on not a whole lot of rest. I'm going to take Stephen Holm for the upset. Go Canada.
Okay. All right. I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
10 Americans, because apparently Greg Hogue did not show up. So how many in the final 32? How many in the final 16?
One
in
zero.
the final 32 and 0 in the final 16. That's what you're saying, Mike?
Yep.
I'm going to take 2 and 1. Actually, I'll take 2 and 2. I'm going to have Sky and Shane making it through to the 16.
What a shot, man.
Well,
Mr. you heard it here first from Mr. Gamble.
I'm going to go 3 and 1.
3.
Who's your
Who's
three?
your third?
No clue. I'm just going 3 and 1.
Law of averages.
Yeah, I'm just rolling the dice on 3 and 1.
3 and 1.
I mean, I don't know.
3 and 32 and 1 and 16.
Okay, let's go through the U.S. players real quick, and then we'll get out of here. So
you got Shane.
Hold on. I'm going to read them off as we see them. Joey Tate, Sky Woodward. Okay. Shane Wolford, Hunter Lombardo.
Oh, surely Hunter's one of Mike's 3.
Oscar Dominguez, Mason Koch, Tyler Steyer, Max Eberle, Billy Thorpe, Shane Van Bonen.
Yep.
So who's that third one out of that group?
No clue. I'd like to see someone. What do you have to win to get to the final 64? 2 matches. So you have to, 3 matches to get into the 6 to 32, whatever it is. Yeah.
Who did Tyler draw first round? Who did Tyler Steyer draw?
Mason.
Oh yeah.
So it could be Tyler.
And these feed right into the next bracket, right? So Tyler would play Kazakis presumably in the second round.
Well, let's go to the bracket. Let me go to the bracket.
Yeah. I think that's the case. Yeah, I could see Tyler being there. 128. That's 64. Yeah, I could see him being there in the.
Yeah, Tyler would play. Sure. Tyler would play Kazakis in the second round. If you win, if you win your second round match, you're into 64, right? So. We'll see. It's not going to be easy for any of them, but
I stand by my 2 and 2.
Watch out for Max Eberle.
I'm writing this down. I say 2 and 2. Melina says 1 and 0.
Yeah, there's a real. He's waving the American flag.
I'm just saying what I think's gonna happen. Yeah.
Joey has 2 and 2.
Mike's there doing the wave with a flag behind him.
I'm writing this down.
about this whole Texas thing, aren't you?
Melina has 1-0, and Panozzo has 3-1. We'll see who does better on that one. All right, guys. Hey, stay tuned. Make sure your notifications are on. Thanks so much for joining.
Are you not going to give a pick? I'm going to do a reel later for mine. Are you?
No, I thought we were doing. Yeah, we're doing a pick later, man.
Pick later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're either doing the draft. I don't want to give you my pick before I do the draft because then you'll steal it. So.
Right, because
what do you think the chance? What's the
over
and under on
your picks?
Yeah, what's the over under on Mike stealing one of your picks?
Right,
he'll do it. I'm telling you.
I need all the edge I can get. I'm going with Joey Ryan here. Yeah.
Well, hey guys, if you want to support us, check out patreon.com/dogging it. We do a question of the day every day there. Have a lot of fun with it. Thanks again for your support, and we will be back later today.